with this week's new and trending AI tools you can't afford to miss. Pavel Durov, the founder of Telegram, said this week on the Lex Fridman podcast,
everybody else is just reading the same news and discussing the same news.
Yeah, majority of the population becomes slaves to the AI recommender systems.
I feel them probing and manipulating my brain. So I'm done. I'm unplugging from the matrix in this video. I'm going to vibe code the antidote, a system that puts me back in control of my own information diet. Let's get in and see if we can build it. I've got 3 different terminal windows open, and I'm going to be using 3 different agentic coding tools at the command line, including, of course, OpenAI's Codex with GPT-5 Codex High. My next terminal window will run Claude Code dangerously with skip permissions enabled, using, of course, their latest and greatest, Claude Sonnet 4.5, which has been benchmarked and, according to them, is the very best software engineering buddy at the command line you can ever believe existed. And finally, let's give open source a chance. I'm actually going to use this OpenCode, which is an AI coding agent built for the terminal. But what makes it really unique is that it can run any coding model, and they even have their own Zen model, which basically picks the best from all models at any time you place a prompt in. So it can switch and swap and find you the best agentic coding tool. First of all, I'll switch to Node and I'll copy this. Paste it into my 3rd terminal window. Next up, I'm going to click into Zen on their website, and I'm going to click Get Started with Zen. Now, to use their own Zen model, I need to sling them some money, $20 to start with, and they just put a processing fee on top of that, but otherwise, you get all of the AI models passed on to you at cost. Okay, I've paid OpenCode $20, and also OpenAI, I paid $200 for the Pro plan, and Claude Code I'm using via the API. And now I just type OpenCode in my code directory. Wow, that looks slick. All right, the scene is set. Let the vibe coding battle commence. Now, just to be fair, I've created the same vibe coding prompt for each model, and this is what I'm going to paste in. I want it to make me a personal AI newsfeed. Should be really simple. It needs to know my favorite places to look. We're starting with Reddit. It needs to know what I'm interested in via keywords. It should rank the items. The feed should be sorted, and it should show me a clean, simple, clickable link that takes me to the original post. Sounds pretty good. Let's get each tool going at the same time, and I'll start opening up results as they're produced. Enter, enter, enter. Let's watch them go to work. What's happening here? Well, we can see Codex is exploring things. Claude is thinking really hard. This is very exciting. This is a vibe coding build-off in real time, and I love it. Now we've got Codex with the to-do list. Claude is still thinking away very carefully about what it's going to do. But look at this. OpenCode is getting to work. It's already writing code. It's already planning and ticking off items on the to-do list, whereas Claude and Codex are somewhat behind thinking about things. I think if I'm talking about speed here, I'm probably looking at OpenCode. Now we see Claude has got into action. It's created some code. OpenAI Codex is creating the requirements file. It's starting to do things, but look at this. OpenCode is booming ahead. In fact, it's nearly completed its to-do list, ticking off 3 items in real time and writing more code. This is mind-blowing, and I'm covering this in real time. So now if we continue to look at things, well, OpenAI Codex is good, I believe, but slow. That will be decided soon. Claude is still thinking about things, working with Node and Express right now, and, well, it looks like OpenCode is nearly finished. Yay for open source. And we'll just watch it now. You'll see actually as it builds out, it did flash up there that it's using Claude Sonnet 4.5. So actually via OpenCode's Zen plan, I do get Claude 4.5, which is great. The to-do list is ticked off, and don't tell me that OpenCode is finishing. Actually, Claude Code finished first. It's already spun something up for me. This is absolutely amazing. Now, while both Claude Code and OpenCode seem to have completed something and have something ready for me, Codex is still working really hard on completing the task. Maybe it's working extra hard because Codex will be extra good. Yes, now we have a personal feed created as a Flask backend, and you can see there's already a nice URL I can access it at. So, at the start of this race, we can see Claude Code was the fastest, but quick behind it on its tail was OpenCode, also, funnily enough, using Claude 4.5 Sonnet, and the slowest was OpenAI Codex on GPT-5 Codex High. But what do the results look like? Let's check them out. Let's open up localhost 3001. Aha! This is Codex. Interesting. Let's open up localhost 3002. Ah, this is Claude Code, and it's blinding me with the brightness. And let's open up localhost 3003, and there's a very similar looking OpenCode result using the Zen model, which is actually pulling in news already without me having to do anything. So far, in terms of usability, Claude Code is definitely the fastest, but in my opinion so far, because I actually got to see some stories, OpenCode is winning on the actual usability of my vibe-coded product. So let's go through in order and properly test. First of all, Codex didn't put in any default subreddits, which is sad, even though I asked in the prompt, so I'm going to paste in what came from actually Claude Code's version, these subreddits, and I'll also take the interest keywords and paste them in over here. We've got a minimum relevance score, but we'll leave that and we'll just click refresh feed and see if it actually works. And, well, it kind of does, but it's just pulling in daily question threads and nothing much else. This doesn't really look very handy to me. It's just upvoting the top coffee posts in subreddits. Yeah, usability is a big for OpenAI Codex. All right, let's skip over to Claude Code's MVP. We can see I've just copied the keywords here. These were pre-populated already. Will refresh feed actually work? And yes, it loaded the posts in much the same way, actually, as OpenAI's Codex did. In fact, it seems to have almost pulled the same threads through. And yes, it does indeed link through perfectly. Actually, I should try that on the Codex version too. Here we are back in the Codex version, beginner cyclist, let's click. Yes, it worked. So far so good, although usability of both those MVPs not very good. How about OpenCode? Well, here we are in our personal newsfeed, and even though I don't like the color scheme, it's too bright for me, this looks like it's categorized much better than the other two, and we're actually getting interesting stuff right here about things that I'm generally interested in. So this could be pretty good indeed. It's all relevant stuff. Maybe let's open one of these posts like this one. And yes, it pulled me through to the exact post with an image, I note. That's all well and good. I think overall I prefer the design of OpenAI Codex. I'm absolutely loving the fact that this is dark and nicely laid out. Over here in Claude, it's just a little bit basic, and OpenCode, again, a little bit basic. Looks like a generic AI app. So I wonder how good my AI agents are at following instructions with an image attached to get the layout looking a little bit better. Now, to get design inspiration, I'll go to this tool called Mobbin, and I'll do a little search for a site that's based on a news feed, for instance. There we go, web-based news feeds. Ah, yes, I quite like the look of this, so that's absolutely perfect. I can right-click and say download screen. With that now downloaded, you'll see it in my downloads folder. I can drag and drop it into each coding agent just like this, and OpenCode as well, and you'll see it references my image file perfectly. Now I just added make design like this to every single prompt. We'll hit enter, enter, and enter, and we'll watch again in real time as we do this wonderful vibe coding speed run. It's going. Look, OpenAI Codex has made a plan. Claude Code is updating the HTML structure. Sadly, this is definitely a thumbs down for OpenCode. It can see the file exists, but it can't view PNG images. Could you describe? So that's a thumbs down for OpenCode. It can't see PNG images. I don't know if it can see JPEGs, but Codex and Claude Code can. So let's wait for their result. Okay, again faster, it's Claude Code that finished first with the new design that I'm very excited to see, but we can see over here Codex has been working for 1.5 minutes and it's still redesigning, and it's only on the first part of its updated plan. Now, while we wait for OpenAI Codex to complete, to be completely fair, I'm actually going to go into quick actions here and I'm going to convert this image, and we'll choose to make it a JPEG. Now we'll try and drag and drop this JPEG, and again for OpenCode we'll say make design like this. And again, it's saying I can see the JPEG file exists, but unable to view those image files directly. And after just over 8 minutes, yes, I can see that Codex has completed and summarized its work. This is the previous Codex design, and this, wow! Oh my goodness me! Well, when we compare what this looks like to this design, it hasn't really followed the design closely, so definitely a thumbs down for that. But for the upgrade to the design, and interestingly enough, calling me Sam as well, my personal AI News Radar looks a lot better to me. I've got these clickable and removable things, so now I can add in something like singularity. Let's hit enter there, and we'll say OpenAI is the interest keyword, minimum relevant score of 10. Let's refresh the feed. I like this. This is very, very nice indeed, and it is indeed pulling in things that are relevant to me based on OpenAI from the Singularity subreddit. Feed is live. Wow, I gotta say, what Codex has come up with has exceeded my expectations, possibly not following my prompt exactly, but definitely after 8 minutes, it was worth the wait, I feel. Okay, Claude, what you got for me? Let's refresh. A very quick update. And this kind of looks like one of those RSS reader apps from like 10 or 20 years ago, you know, the self-hosted ones. But we won't complain, because if we look at this, yeah, this is kind of looking a little closer to the design. I don't know why AI favors blue to purple gradients so much, but let's refresh the feed and see how our feed looks. Now we've got our feed. It's looking like this compared to this design. I would say that Claude Code is much more adherent to the image that I uploaded. So in my opinion, that's definitely a point for Claude Code, and potentially a point for OpenAI Codex, but sorry, OpenCode, you didn't win this time, in my personal experience. All right, I'm going to try one more thing in this vibe coding speedrun. I would like you to add a feature to my app that whenever you pull in a Reddit post that has an image attached, you display that image in a nice way. There's my prompt on OpenAI Codex. I've now also pasted it into Claude Code and OpenCode. Let's hit enter. Enter, and we'll wait and see what happens. I'm interested to see what happens in the first few seconds. And yes, OpenCode, being the fastest, takes no time at all to create its plan, start writing code, while Claude Code is just a little bit behind, and OpenAI Codex is really taking its time. But in my experience, the fact that OpenAI Codex takes its time actually probably ends up bringing me a better result in the end. So if I have to wait 5 minutes, 8 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour, as long as the product at the end is better than everything else, then I'm happy. And you can see over here, OpenCode is whizzing through, Claude Code is also updating things here, and even OpenAI Codex is starting to get started on the first part in its plan. OpenAI Codex is planning front-end changes to show images and doing lazy loading. So I like the fact that OpenAI Codex is really thinking about architecture and best practices all along the way. And there we go, Claude Code finished first, done. I've added image display support. This is great news. OpenCode seems to be working away still. I hope that it's not stuck, but it's doing something. And OpenAI Codex, after 2 minutes, seems to have updated its plan. And heck, actually, OpenAI Codex may finish before OpenCode. It's a real race now. Which one is going to finish first? Done! OpenCode beats OpenAI Codex to it, but let's wait for OpenAI Codex to finish so we can see the final result from all 3 AI coding agents. And there we go. Yes, it's wrapping up. The image-rich feed is completed from OpenAI Codex, so we've got working products from all 3 agents. Let's take a look. Okay, let's refresh OpenAI Codex and have a look. It's going to pull in, and yes, it's pulling in images, probably not in the most desirable way. Some of them look a little bit clipped and tiny, but it's definitely pulling in images. This is what I asked for, and it's working pretty well. So this is definitely a win. It's done what I asked for. Over to Claude Code's update. Let's refresh, and we'll need to refresh the feed this time. And it's searching the subreddits. Let's scroll through, try and find an image somewhere. Whoa, yeah, there's an image, but it It's ugly. The fact that it's so big. Oh my goodness me. Yeah, these images are too big. Maybe I go back to dreaming of OpenAI Codex design where it actually was nicely squished down and not so big. But if I was using this in a mobile, maybe this could work. And finally, let's look at what OpenCode did. Boom, yes, it's pulling in with images attached. And actually, I like this the best because every image is a consistent size and looks really good. I like this a lot. So here I'm going to give a point to OpenCode and also OpenAI Codex, but no point this time to Claude Code because, well, the implementation was just pretty lazy. Now, for the next bit, I don't need to write a new prompt. I actually want to test whether my coding agents have made the site responsive. So I'll go into Inspect, that's DevTools, and then over here, I'll go ahead and click this button, and we can see, yes, OpenAI Codex is making responsive, although, well, the images are spilling outside the borders a bit. I don't quite like that. Same over here on Claude Code. Let's make sure that's connected. And yes, it's thought about responsiveness here. How do those images look? Yes, they're squished nicely and fit actually perfectly. Arguably, this is way better than OpenAI Codex. And finally, we'll do the same thing over here in the OpenCode version. And we've got this on and we can see it's beautifully responsive, possibly the best looking responsive design of the lot. So let's give 1 point to OpenCode here and none to Codex or Claude Code. Oh, and there's something else we can check. Are there any console errors, meaning that, well, everything works, but the bugs are sitting there? So inside OpenAI Codex, no console errors. Inside Claude Code, no console errors. And inside OpenCode, no console errors. So each AI coding agent gets a point for no bugs. Now the most important thing, let's quit out and find out how much everything costs. So Codex is complete, and because I'm paying for the $200 a month plan, this would have worked well on the $20 a month plan. Let's copy the token usage. Total final cost here for my usage of 83 cents. So 83 cents would be the usage cost of today's coding session with OpenAI Codex. Next, we'll quit out of Claude Code, and we can see my usage session was $1.11. So it's a little bit more than OpenAI's Codex. And one of the best things about OpenCode is you don't need to quit because it tells you as you go along what you're spending, which I think is a critical feature. And we can see here almost half of Claude Code. Yes, just 56 cents, definitely the cheapest AI coding agent I use today. So in terms of points for cost, it'll be 1 point to OpenCode, half a point to OpenAI Codex, and sorry, Claude, you're super expensive, no points for you. And there you have it, a vibe coding speedrun. Which AI coding agent wins in your opinion? Vote down below with your comment and let me know which one you're using and which one you feel the best vibe from. As always, I really appreciate you watching these videos. I really do enjoy making them. Now, I'm sure you want to hear what is my own personal opinion and conclusion on the 3 AI coding agents that I've demonstrated. Well, I feel that OpenAI Codex is presently the best AI coding model out there. But of course, that changes week by week and even day by day at the moment. Claude Code, I feel, is too expensive for me right now. And also, I feel like Sonnet 4.5 was rushed out there to present an answer to OpenAI's Codex. So not necessarily the model I would use right now for coding. But that can change even next week. And OpenCode, a super cool arrival on the scene, and I got to look into that more. It was fast, it was very inexpensive, and it did the job pretty well, and with a bit more tweaking and the ability to upload an image, I bet it could be super powerful, and arguably it could have won this race. So let me know in the comments down below your thoughts. As always, thank you for watching, and YouTube is showing a video on your screen now you should watch next. Thanks.